testicles rendered to make them non-functional. The eunuch harem guards were nothing but dedicational. I'm a biological male, and I think fuck that for a job of castration. I love having sex, and I'm partial to a round of solo masturbation. Historically thinking, the Ottoman Empire and the Persia men were a little bit nuts to do your own balls in. No pun intended, so please don't get offended. Across ancient civilization, I'm sure there were lots of powerful jobs without castration. Eunuchs were utilized to guard royal women's quarters. I think save the bollocks, fuck the princess's beautiful daughters. Emasculation to avoid sexual temptation. Castrati, the complete removal of both testicles and the penis. You would get nowhere near me, a hammer to the bollocks. At least the eunuch had a choice. Spot-ons babies were made infertile before they even had a voice. They didn't even develop a sexual organ, so no nuts and penis to cut off, as there wasn't nothing there to remove them. Ancient times, but things were pretty medieval. Very barbaric, very fucking evil. Now to think about it, eunuchs got off light. 10 things from ancient history that makes me weep in excruciating pain of misery. Scaphism, ancient Persia. Victims were trapped between two hollowed out boats. They were force-fed a mixture of milk and honey to induce severe diarrhea, and coated with the mixture to attract insects, leaving them to die a slow, agonizing death from gangrene and infection over several days. Lynch-eye slow slicing in Imperial China, a form of public execution used for nearly 1,000 years, wherein the executioner methodically removed pieces of the victim's flesh and limbs over an extended period before a final decapitation. The Blood Eagle Norse Saga's a legendary execution method where the victim's ribs were severed from the spine, pulled outward to resemble wings, and the lungs were pulled out to drape over the wings. Impaling Assyrian Empire, Wallachia, famously practiced by Vlad the Impaler. This terror tactic involved slowly lowering a victim onto a sharpened stake. The stake pierced the body, often bypassing vital organs to prolong suffering for days. Crushed by elephants, ancient and medieval Asia, and parts of India and Southeast Asia. Elephants were specially trained to crush the condemned's head beneath their massive weight, or slowly torture them. The brazen bull, ancient Greece, a hollow bronze device in which victims were locked while a fire was lit beneath it. The agonizing screams of the person inside were channeled through a system of pipes to mimic the bellowing of a bull. Breaking on the wheel, medieval Europe, also known as the Catherine wheel. Victims were tied to a large wooden wheel while an executioner systematically smashed all the limbs and bones with an iron bar before leaving them to bleed out. Hung, drawn, and quartered England, a punishment for treason, where the condemned was dragged to the gallows by a horse, hanged but cut down before death, disemboweled and finally cut into 4 pieces. Keel-hauling Dutch Navy pirates, a brutal maritime punishment where a victim was tied to a rope, thrown overboard and dragged underneath the hull of the ship, subjecting them to drowning and severe lacerations from barnacles. Rat torture, medieval to early modern Europe, a sadistic practice where a cage containing ravenous rats was placed against the bare flesh of a victim. Heat was applied to the top of the cage, forcing the panicked rodents to chew their way through the victim's body to escape. So ancient history, there's the facts from evolution. We are a race of barbarian evil maniacs. Torture, death, murder, mutilation, castration. Fuck this for civilization.